Hello, my name is Lorraine Mullen. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm a fifth-year PhD candidate at the University at Buffalo in the English department. Today, I'm here to talk a bit about the results of two IRB studies I served as the principal investigator on during the 2022 and 2023 academic year. My presentation is entitled An Evaluation of the Effectiveness of the Reading and Writing Workshop in EOP Summer Bridge. So what is EOP? EOP, or the Educational Opportunity Program, is a New York statewide program on every SUNY campus that provides additional financial and academic support to low-income undergraduate students. Quote, the Arthur O. Eve Educational Opportunity Program, or EOP, is a multifaceted academic and student enrichment program for students who have demonstrated their potential to academically and personally succeed at UB despite economic or social barriers. This is from the University of Buffalo's website. EOP students have an academic advisor who aids them in navigating life as a college student, in addition to a program or college-wide advisor that all students might have access to. In order to enroll at UB within EOP, incoming freshmen must successfully complete a 5-week Summer Bridge program. So, what is Summer Bridge? Summer Bridge serves as an opportunity for incoming first-year students at the university to meet one another, become acquainted with EOP staff and the university backdrop, as well as to experience college-level courses. Prior to the summer of 2022, this program included 2 credit-bearing courses, a social science and a mathematics course, respectively, study skills workshops, personal wellness workshops, mandatory tutoring hours, and social outings. The program is traditionally held in person, though it was fully remote during the summer of 2020 because of COVID-19, and it was hybrid during summer 2021 and summer 2022. This presentation focuses on the creation of a reading and writing workshop that was designed during the 2021 to 2022 academic year and first implemented during summer of 2022. The workshop was modeled after the success of mathematics programming. EOP students take a credit-bearing mathematics course during Summer Bridge and then continue on with the same instructor during the fall semester. The writing program aimed to see if a similar but less intensive non-credit-bearing course could help EOP students in English 105, the university's required Gen Ed, a rhetoric and composition course. So the design of the reading and writing workshop curriculum and the necessity of including such a workshop was predicated on a lengthy literature review, which I will briefly summarize. When speaking of at-risk students, the definition, while not all encompassing, includes individuals in the following student populations: ethnic minorities, those that are academically unprepared, underprepared, and require developmental coursework in math, reading, or English; students with disabilities, those from low socioeconomic backgrounds, first-generation college students, and continuing or transfer students who are on academic probation. The students that EOP serves fit well within the category of at-risk, usually fitting into multiple student populations listed above, which I've bolded on the screen. By definition, again, EOP students must be low income, but that also disproportionately means that they are also students of color and are first-generation college students. Generally speaking, students who accumulate excessive withdrawals, incompletes, and no credit repeats greatly increase their time to degree and cut in half their chances of actually earning a degree. The reason for this is not just that it increases time to degree, but that means a further financial burden as well as additional remedial coursework. To compound this, students taking multiple remedial courses are more likely to leave college, with students of color and first-generation students represented in greater numbers among those taking remedial courses. In order to aid students in preserving or persevering through these courses, institutions and/or individual departments may want to tailor remediation programs to the specific social, cultural, and educational characteristics of students in need of such assistance, who may become more adept in moving students then from developmental courses to success in college-level courses, and most important, persistence to graduation. So there are only a handful of articles that have been specifically written about EOP, which are particularly useful in understanding the cross-SUNY impact that EOP has on student populations across New York State. SUNY campuses that have an EOP have seen an increase in diversity among their first-year cohorts. For example, the representation of low-income students in the student body jumped a 68% increase. The representation of students who were raised by parents without a college degree or who are first-generation college students more than doubled. And we see an increase in representation of African American and Latino or Latina students on campus with an increase of 84.5%. Thinking about student success and the factors that impact an individual before they arrive on campus, admission score was a statistically significant predictor of first semester credits earned. This seems to be universal, again, regardless of EOP status, but helps kind of set the stage. Similarly, rates between EOP and non-EOP students who return in the fall of their second semester seem to be about the same, which is about 86%. This would suggest that after EOP programs were implemented, that EOP students exhibited outcomes that appeared to, quote, close the gap and set the stage early in their college career for bachelor degree attainment. EOP students, and generally speaking, any student from a low-income background, should be provided with additional time and resources with additional financial aid opportunities to take summer courses, which will overall increase their ability to earn the number of credits needed to gain momentum towards graduation. So if all of this is a backdrop, we began to outline the curriculum for 2021. So during fall 2021, I began to outline the workshop curriculum for the upcoming summer and began to hold information sessions in order to recruit graduate teaching assistants to teach in Summer Bridge. By spring 2022, I worked alongside EOP and the Academic and Professional Writing program at UB to finalize the curriculum and hold joint interviews with EOP staff in order to identify strong candidates for the instructor positions. I, of course, also applied to teach in this program and was selected as the lead TA. After candidates were chosen, I held a meeting with the Summer Bridge instructors to pass out the syllabus and to talk about the program. And then a week before Summer Bridge began, EOP ran several professional development sessions. So this is what the schedule for the writing program looked like in Summer Bridge. So the 2022 reading and writing workshop ran for 5 weeks. The first 3 weeks were in person, the final 2 were remote. Each week of the workshop included 1 lecture, 1 writing assignment, 1 peer review workshop, and 2 office hour periods. Additionally, students visited both libraries on campus about midway through the program for an hour-and-a-half library services tour. A research librarian then visited each of the workshop classes as well during the standard lecture portion of the curriculum to talk about how to use the library website. 4 of the instructors who taught in the workshop retained at least 19 of their original 28 to 30 students in their subsequent English 105 in the fall. And I want to point out here that this program only employed graduate workers. So it only employed English PhD students or candidates who had taught English 105 for at least 2 semesters to give them summer funding. And this was particularly important to me as an English PhD candidate to ensure that we were providing funding opportunities for other PhD candidates when traditionally the English department at UB does not provide summer funding for its candidates. So on a separate level, we believed that this was an important measure of equity, that it was important that we provide funding and work opportunities for candidates who are traditionally not funded over the summer. Okay, so the evaluation after summer 2022 is based, again, on 2 IRB studies that were conducted, the Reading and Writing Workshop, Instructor Focus Group, and the EOP Student Study Survey. Additionally, I did a fairly simple data workup on de-identified aggregate student grades for English 105, the required college composition course, looking specifically at EOP students versus non-EOP students taking English 105. So unfortunately, the student survey study ended up being statistically non-viable in the sense that so few students actually completed the 4 surveys that I couldn't really draw any conclusions. Part of the low turnout is that I did not receive or did not offer a financial or material incentive to participants, as this project wasn't university, department, or grant funded. The instructor focus group, however, provided a lot of really useful information. Of the 8 instructors, 5 agreed to participate and 4 to 5 attended each of the 2 group sessions that were held on Zoom. Of the topics discussed, many instructors felt a stronger sense of community with their EOP students as they had spent 5 weeks with their students in the Summer Bridge program. Unrelated to Summer Bridge specifically, they also felt that having a physical community space for EOP students outside of their classes would be beneficial to aid in building community. and recommended creating different tracks for different majors or creating cohorts for new students who could take all of or some of their classes together. Furthermore, they thought that hiring additional academic, programming, and advisory staff in EOP would better support these students. In English 105, instructors felt that students really struggled with class and assignment instruction retention, as well as being fully engaged and paying attention in class and time management. There were severe polarities in students' grades and participation, with about 25% of students doing well and another equal proportion of students in the D- to F range. Students also required an extensive amount of academic support and assignment reminders. In general, the instructors felt like the workshop curriculum was highly redundant to English 105 and not in a way that aided in student retention of material from summer to the fall. All of these instructors were graduate workers, again, English TAs during the academic year. So this focus group was also a useful place for folks to critically reflect on their own pedagogical methods and to consider the relationship between academic support and departmental course instruction. So after English 105 concluded at the end of fall 2021, data analysis was conducted. So during the fall 2021 semester, 92 EOP students enrolled in English 105. Of the students enrolled, approximately half of the students were first-generation college students. The average EOP student, excluding those who failed or withdrew from their course, was a 3.2, which is between a B or B+. The difference between the final grades of students who were in EOP designated sections and those who were not was negligible. During the fall 2022 semester, which is after the implementation of the Summer Bridge, 135 EOP students enrolled in English 105. Again, or of the students enrolled, about a third of those students were first-generation college students, which is a decrease or a reduction. The average EOP grade, excluding those who failed or withdrew from the course, was again about the same, between a B or B+. The difference between the final grades of students who were in EOP designated sections, versus non-EOP sections wasn't significant. However, it is worth noting that overwhelmingly EOP students were in EOP sections compared to the previous year, meaning that the difference was, though negligible, was also difficult to really make meaning of. One thing that's also to note is that between the fall of 2021 and fall of 2022, the University of Buffalo changed their definition of an F. They implemented this new F1, F2 versus R, which was W, or which is now W, which also had an impact on data analysis. The original intent of the reading and writing workshop in EOP Summer Bridge was to close the gap between EOP and non-EOP students' overall final grades in English 105 during the fall semester that directly followed participation in Summer Bridge. During the fall 2021 semester, there was only a 0.1 difference between ENG 105 grades of EOP students versus non-EOP students. There was, however, a substantial difference between EOP and non-EOP students in regards to those who passed with a C or above and those who did not. Only 68.48% of EOP students passed with a C or above, whereas 95% of non-EOP students passed with a C or above. After the implementation of the workshop in Summer Bridge, the rate of passing with more than a C increased by 10 percentage points, right, from 68 to 78%. There still is, of course, a lot of work to do. Again, the passing rate for non-EOP students who take English 105 is still 95%, while the passing rate for EOP students is just below 80. So while there are more students who passed in 2021 compared to 2020, the gap between EOP and non-EOP, or between 2022 and 2021, the gap between EOP and non-EOP students who pass this required gen ed still remains fairly substantial. So during the spring of 2023, I worked alongside the Academic and Professional Writing Program and EOP to propose a series of revisions to the Reading and Writing Summer Bridge workshop. One of the most substantial changes was that the course went from non-credit bearing to credit bearing, or it became English 100, a three credit hour class. This resonates with previous research that indicates that more credit bearing opportunities over the summer are important for student success. Overall, the curriculum was redesigned to be less redundant and to instead be project-oriented. Students completed the same number of total smaller assignments, but they were scaffolded in such a way that they culminated in a larger multimodal project. We maintain the in-person library visits midway through the program, and we also continue the practice of employing English PhD students who worked as TAs during the academic year. We also continue to prioritize maintaining the same instructors for both Summer Bridge and English 105. Spring 2023 was my last semester as the GA in the Academic and Professional Writing program, which is how I undertook this work. So to ensure that this program would continue after me, I drafted a hand guide on how to run the program, as well as assembled a box folder with materials from both iterations of the Summer Bridge course, along with my IRB studies. In summary, we know that Summer Bridge programs are important for at-risk student success in college, and we can see that there is a clear value in implementing such programs, of course, from an academic standpoint, as well as in building communities of support for students, for our students. So there we go. Thank you all again, and I look forward to talking about this later on. Yeah, I look forward to talking about this later on. Thank you.